Welcome to the Unraveling the Scriptures channel. You may already know that Abraham was a great man of God, one of the most iconic figures in the Old Testament. He lived about 4,000 years ago, but do you know all of his descendants? Abraham is widely known as the father of the Israelites and the Ishmaelite Arabs, but are these the only nations that emerged from him? In this video, we will delve deep into the origins of the many peoples that descend from Abraham. I will reveal not only the Ishmaelites and Israelites, but also the Edomites, Midianites, and other lesser-known but equally fascinating groups that trace their roots back to this great patriarch. If you're curious to discover more about the vast heritage left by Abraham, please like, comment, and stick around until the end. Together, we will explore how many peoples truly originated from Abraham. Ishmaelites, Israelites, Jews, Edomites. How many peoples did Abraham originate? In recent years, there has been a peculiar curiosity among people. They are searching in their genetic origins and family trees for any hint of Jewish ancestors or connections to the Middle East, whether with Syrian, Arab, or Lebanese peoples. The intention is to discover a possible Semitic lineage in their blood, partly motivated by the historical figure of Abraham, the patriarch of both the people of Israel and the Arab nations, as revealed in the sacred scriptures. We know that the patriarchs of Israel are Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. However, a fact that often goes unnoticed, or of which people are not even aware, is that besides the Israelites, the Edomites, descendants of Esau, also share this lineage. They do not descend solely from Abraham, but also from Isaac. Esau, or Edom, being Jacob's brother, carries this same familial heritage. Therefore, both Jacob and Esau have 4 common ancestors, not only male but also female. Esau was the son of Isaac, who in turn was the son of Abraham. Isaac's mother was Sarah, the wife of Abraham, and Isaac married Rebekah, the mother of both Esau and Jacob. This detail reminds us of the depth of the connections between these lineages, which intertwine not just through the male figures, but also through the women who were fundamental in the formation of these patriarchal families. This search for Semitic roots reflects a desire for connection to a significant ancestral heritage that goes beyond mere curiosity and reaches the wish to understand one's own identity within the context of such a rich and ancient history. In other words, the Edomites are also direct descendants of Isaac and Rebekah, unlike the Israelites, who not only descend from Abraham, but also from Isaac and Rebekah. The Ishmaelites, descendants of Ishmael, the firstborn of Abraham with Hagar, are often considered half-brothers or even cousin peoples of the Israelites. However, if we consider the sacred scriptures more deeply, both genetically and biblically, we can see that the Ishmaelites are even closer to the Israelites than is commonly imagined. This is because, while it is widely accepted that the Ishmaelite Arabs descend from Abraham and Hagar, this is not the complete story. The Ishmaelite tribes intermingled with other Semitic peoples, also descendants of Abraham. A notable example in the scriptures is the Midianites, who are descendants of Abraham and Keturah, his second wife after Sarah's death. This fusion between the Ishmaelites and the Midianite Arabs resulted in a mixture that brings the blood of the Ishmaelites even closer to that of the Israelites and Jews, as both groups descend from Abraham. This close relationship is often overlooked, but it reveals that the ties between the Ishmaelites and the Israelites are much deeper and more complex than merely being half-brothers. The shared heritage of these tribes is a testament to Abraham's lasting influence over various Semitic nations, creating a web of genealogical and cultural relations that continue to resonate to this day. Furthermore, we can observe in the sacred scriptures various unions between Arab tribes descending from Esau and the lineage of Ishmael. A clear example is the marriage of Mahalath, also known as basemate, one of Esau's wives. This demonstrates the blending between the Edomites and the Ishmaelites, highlighting that, in addition to the Ishmaelites mingling with the peoples of the region, such as the Midianites, they also united with the Edomites. Remember that Edom is Esau himself, the son of Isaac and Rebekah, which further reinforces this connection between these peoples. This fusion of lineages means that the Ishmaelites have a genetic compatibility with the ancient Israelites that is much greater than one might imagine. They should not be viewed merely as cousin peoples, but as true genetic brothers. Jews and Ishmaelite Arabs are, in fact, blood brothers, and not just half-brothers or cousin peoples. Similarly, the Edomites, the present-day Jordanians who descend from Esau, also share a significant genetic similarity, as both groups are direct descendants of Abraham. As surprising as it may seem, some may not believe it, but there were times when the Israelites, including the Jews, intermingled with other Semitic tribes, such as the Midianites and the Ishmaelites. Within the lineage of the tribe of Judah, there were Jewish women who married Arab men from various origins, such as Edomites, Ishmaelites, and Midianites. This not only reinforces the ties between these lineages, but also demonstrates how these ancient familial connections continued to shape the genetic and cultural identity of these tribes over the centuries. An excellent example of this connection is Moses himself, who married a woman who was half Midianite and half Cushite. Although the biblical text primarily describes her as a Cushite woman, she also inherited the genetics of her father, Jethro, a Midianite descended from Abraham, and Keturah. In other words, we see here once again the mixing of Arabs and Israelites, as the Midianites also descend from Abraham. This reinforces the idea that the Ishmaelite, Midianite, and Edomite Arabs are genetic brothers of the Israelites, not only through Abraham, but also through their matriarchs. One of these familial ties comes through Rebekah, who was the mother of Esau, the patriarch of the Edomites. Rebekah was of Aramean descent, coming from Paddan Aram, an important region in Semitic history. Additionally, Keturah, Abraham's second wife, also carries an interesting origin. Her name, of Aramaic origin, means bound or committed, suggesting her connection to the Aramean peoples, just like Rebekah. Therefore, Keturah and Rebekah share a common ethnic origin from the land of Paddan Aram, located in the region associated with Aram, son of Shem. This Aramean origin of both Keturah and Rebekah shows us that, besides Abraham, the Arab and Israelite tribes also share a Semitic heritage through their matriarchs. This fact strengthens the relationship between the descendants of Abraham, such as the Ishmaelites, Midianites, Edomites, and Israelites, who, much more closely than one might imagine, share a common ancestry through both the paternal and maternal lines. This helps explain why, throughout history, these tribes have maintained such deep and intertwined bonds. In analyzing Abraham's descendants, we see that he gave rise to a vast number of peoples and tribes in the Middle East, with similar genetics among them. First, we know that Abraham was the father of Ishmael, who in turn had 12 sons, giving rise to 12 Ishmaelite tribes. Isaac, Abraham's son, fathered Jacob, who also became the father of 12 tribes, known as the tribes of Israel. Furthermore, Abraham had a second wife, Keturah, with whom he had 6 children. These children founded other tribes, including the Midianites. Esau, another descendant of Abraham through Isaac, founded 13 Edomite tribes. Adding up all these lineages, we arrive at an impressive number of 43 tribes and peoples that trace their origins back to Abraham. These tribes spread across various regions, including countries like Israel, Jordan, and Yemen, and many of their descendants still inhabit these areas today. One fact that intrigues many people is the famous conflict between Jews and Arabs, which seems to be a constant in the news. Who hasn't heard of the disputes between Israel and Palestine, or the tensions between Israel and other Arab nations like Iraq? This age-old conflict, involving Arabs and Jews, has deep roots in the sacred scriptures. They recount the rivalry between Esau and Jacob, a dispute that began with the struggle for the birthright. Esau, feeling wronged by Jacob, initiated a resentment that seems to reverberate through generations. However, the scriptures also show us that the son of promise was Jacob, chosen by God to continue the lineage that would lead to the people of Israel. It is fascinating to note that despite all the division and conflict throughout history, Jews and Arabs share a common ancestry through Abraham. This familial connection makes the conflicts even more paradoxical, as both peoples have a shared heritage, with deep ties that trace back to the patriarchs of faith. An interesting curiosity about this story is that it reveals something very beautiful: the embrace and forgiveness of Esau towards Jacob. Remember that Esau had sworn to kill his twin brother Jacob over the birthright issue, yet, in the end, we know they forgave each other and reconciled. Overall, many peoples mentioned in the scriptures, like the Israelites, ended up straying from God's ways. Some of these peoples, such as the Midianites and Edomites, about whom I have videos on my channel, also believed in the God of Abraham, as they were his descendants. Even so, many drifted away and forgot about God, similar to what happened with Israel in Egypt, where they engaged in Egyptian idolatry. Other descendants of Abraham through his other children also went astray, but there were still those who maintained their faith in the God of Abraham. It was this faith that led God to hear the cries of the Israelites in Egypt and free them. Similarly, the Arabs continued to believe in God. As we can see in the story of Moses, there was an Arab who was a priest of God, indicating that the priesthood and belief in this God were known in the land of Midian among the Midianite Arabs. Jethro, for example, was a very influential priest in that region, showing that faith in the Almighty God was also present among these peoples. Although many of them, just like the people of Israel, became idolaters at various times, falling into this grave sin and forgetting God, we can highlight an interesting fact in the scriptures. Ishmael prayed to God, and God heard him, sending an angel to show him where there was water for him and his mother. This is something very interesting and rarely mentioned. Who would have imagined that Ishmael would pray to the God of his father? Arabs and Jews indeed have more similarities than many may imagine. This was a brief video where I addressed a bit about this theme, focusing on the genealogy and genetics of the peoples and their patriarchs and matriarchs. Thank you for watching until now. May God bless you and see you soon.